So these questions are supposed to be personal and ambiguous and a little anxiety provoking. That's how people get connected. This is how you find your neighbors. So I want to give you a second question. Well, let me do this first. Let me ask you, anybody, we've got some mics. And do we have people who will run the mics? Either, if you'll come forward. So let me ask you a question. Don't report on what you just talked about, because reports are always boring. All right? Instead, let me ask you to say what struck you about the conversation you just had. What did you notice? So in the dominant narrative of consumer, I know what's best for you, predictability, consistency, no surprises. You always say, you're looking for an answer. In a neighborly environment, you say, let's have time for reflection. Let me learn from my own experience, rather than somebody telling me about their experience. So this is a partnership culture. The dominant one's a parent culture. Doesn't matter how old you are. Institutions still operate in a parent-child model. Wherever you work, they still think they own you. All right? They have something in mind for you, and if they like you, they will develop you. Much like my wives. And they'll have a performance review, if you're lucky. Once a year, you get a boss to sit down and claim sovereignty over you in the name of development. And so this is an anti-colonial alternative. I'm exaggerating. I'd like to give you another question, okay? Same group. Same group. And this question is, what's the crossroads you're at this stage of your life? So you keep cranking it up each question. Because neighborliness gets built when people take a chance with each other, when they get personal with each other, when they realize that you're not the stranger that I thought you were. And so you're always asking people to have more personal conversations, not just interesting conversations, but personal ones. So take about 9 minutes now. I'm in charge. No. And say, what's the crossroads you're at this stage of your life? Now, don't be helpful to each other. Don't give advice. Don't say, well, you know, when I was your age, I had the same problem. Here's what I did. Because it implies that things worked out. Well, when I went to school, I know, and look what happened to you. So this notion that when I was there, here's what I did, let it go. Your mother's interested, not the world. And so take about 10 minutes and say, here's the crossroads I'm at this stage of my life. And then ask the person, tell me what's at stake for you. What does that mean to you? Tell me how you feel about that. Don't get into giving advice if you tried this or that. So try this, 9 minutes, act as if you understand this assignment. Got it? And then she'll put it up there. So do that now. What's the crossroads you're at this stage of your life? So you could say that the reason we gather people together in community is to create an alternative conversation. Change the conversation, change the world. What keeps us stuck is to have the same old conversation. We come together to complain. People go to city council. City council is usually on a platform. Comfortable chair, everybody's got a mic on city council or county commissioner. And citizens are given a little mic in the middle of the room. They get to stand up for 2 minutes and shout out their complaints like wounded goats. And we call it civic engagement. So I know that conversations, for me, complaining about what other people should do different, take me nowhere. It's not that I'm wrong. It's just they don't take us anywhere. So to get citizens together to talk about what leaders should do is a waste of time. And it leaves me feeling more helpless afterwards than when I showed up, even though it's fun. And so what neighborliness means is we shift the conversation from complaints about what they should do differently, about waiting for their transformation, to what we can do here. What's the crossroads I'm at? Why did I show up? And so every time you gather people, a part of it has to be putting people in a small group with people they're not used to being with, conversations I'm not used to having. Because where I'm stuck in my life, it's the same old conversation. So now after the small groups meet for a while, you got to bring everybody back together. Otherwise the little groups get tribal. And everybody says, well, my small group was the best one in the room. Isn't that something? which means my future depends on keeping together with those 3 people. And then what you discover over time is I can be this way with anybody I'm with. So I'd like to give you another question now. And there's a third one for the small group, just to give you this structure. And this is a gift conversation. So usually after we've been together, we say goodbye. Sometimes we say, what can we do better next time? The deficiency takes over, as if there's going to be a next time. I like the theme that there's nothing to wait for. When my sister got married, my uncle gave her $100. So when I got married, every day I'd go to the mailbox looking for my $100. It never came. And I still obviously have not gotten over it. But the mindset is something's going to happen. I'm waiting for something. Also, I love the notion that faith is a part of this process. I always think it's easy to have faith in God, hard to have faith in each other. And so what neighborliness does is give us an opportunity and a structure and a means by which our faith in each other gets built. Which may be the point which is different than hope and optimism, which tries to predict the future. You want to be optimistic, you want to be pessimistic, it doesn't matter. Your ability to predict the future isn't going to shape it. So give up the notion that I know what's going to happen. And you substitute that with faith and connection, and that becomes another way. So what I'd like you to do now, tell the other 2 people, here's what you did, or 3 people. Here's what you did in our discussions tonight that touched me, that gave something to me, that was a gift to me. Most of us know our deficiencies. You've been told, I've been told all my life what I need to work on. Telling somebody what they need to work on is a way of controlling them, shaping them into what I want you to be. And all of us package it as parents, oh, I just want you to be happy. That's the biggest lie in the world. I want you to live out my unfulfilled dreams. That's why you have children. If you're honest at all with your kids, you say, Jennifer, Heather, your job is to live out my unfulfilled dreams. Now get on with it. Don't give me this, I just want you to be happy. All right? If I wanted my kids to be happy, I'd have chosen to be happy myself. So all that's happening, and you say this has to balance. So the antidote to patriarchy, colonialism, is to discover what my gifts are, and I don't know what they are. If I ask you your deficiencies, you go on and on. You could spend an hour telling me what you've been working on all these years, all the feedback you got, all the coaching you could, all the medication you took, all right, on and on. If I ask you, what are your gifts, you'd say, I like people. Anything else? Nothing comes to mind at the moment. I'm a hard worker. And so we're blind to our gifts. The only time I'm going to hear about my gifts is a eulogy and a retirement party. So once you retire, they feel free to say, here's what we love about you since you're no longer a threat. And then my eulogy, people are going to forgive me when I die. I know that. But I'm going to miss it by a couple of days. I'm not going to hear it. All these. So this is what we're changing. We're saying community neighborliness is built when people tell each other in specific terms, here's the gift I received from you in the last 20 minutes. And now if somebody says something nice to you, just say, thank you. I like hearing that. Don't do your number. Don't give a little speech. Oh, well, I got lucky. You brought it out of me. My brother's worse. You hear myself. So I defend against grace. I defend against gifts by pushing them away. So we create a culture where people take them in, breathe them in. And so just say thank you. I like hearing that. And if you're brave, say tell me more. People who give you a hard time, boy, you go after it. When did I do that? You don't understand me. Let me explain. So you're trying to create a culture where gifts are the point. The task of leadership is to confront people with their gifts. The task of parenting is to help your children know what they're good at, not to bend them and shape them any way you want them. That's not going to work. And so there's something big in this notion of here's what you did in the last 20 minutes that touched me, that was a gift to me, or was useful to me if you'd rather be utilitarian. Or if you're a middle-aged white male, You can just say, well, a couple things happened that were somewhat helpful to me. Okay, that's how guys talk. Want to make it more powerful? Here's what you did that touched me. Got it? So take about 8 minutes. I'm in charge. Tell each other, we're not interested in areas for improvement. Because areas for improvement don't make things better. That's the illusion. That's the scarcity illusion.